Here we go. We're going live. Here we go.
Three, two, one. Inspiration Nation. Hello, Lee Kemp here for another week on a podcast with both Jose Noya and Ryan Boniface, and with a whole cast of people and some very, what am I say? Regulars that we are grateful for. That was a sentence. On TikTok, if you want to get involved, Jose Noya, Inspiration Nation, stick it in your Google machine, follow the links to TikTok and or YouTube. And you'll get notified when we're going live each and every week, and you can join in with what is going on. Right, so we've had a good couple of weeks talking about Ryan. I want to periodically visit this because I think these have been some of the best podcasts that we've done. Absolutely have been. But we're going to do a subject this week. Jose, Ryan said last week that he's been missing your subject, so I think we should put you on the spot.
What? No, because I thought you weren't doing that. Oh, hang on, I've got to try and do something.
We can freestyle. What are you doing? You're doing some tech support on TikTok right now, aren't you?
I'm just trying to do something. I don't know if it's going to work.
Okay.
Just keep going. Yeah.
I asked you to do a quote, so we're a bit screwed now if you like. Just keep going.
I mean, I'm a bit disappointed here. I mean, I brought up the subject for me. Lee somehow leached the subject for me, and Joe is surprised that it's his turn.
So, oh my God, have I got to do a subject now?
On my
Where are you guys? I can't find him. Oh, I was going to tell Zero. Zero, I'm trying to do that. I can't find you, Zero. I don't know if you got a special thing on your. Anyway, I'm just trying to put Zero as a moderator, but I can't. But anyway, I'll look at it later. Oh, sorry guys. I have got a subject if you want one, but that means I have to get off the live.
Get on it. Do
you want mine? I thought you were going to carry on this conversation.
We could carry it. Ryan, are you up for carrying on? I don't know where we are with your conversation about.
I don't know where we are with it. If you can think of something to ask me, then
I've got one. I've got one already. Lee, I thought you said you had a subject ready to go anyway, even without Ryan.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I've got one. Are you ready?
Let's go. We're burning time.
Yeah, he actually doesn't. He actually doesn't have one, does he?
I do have one.
Okay,
it's one I want to. Right, listen to this, everybody.
No squabbling, please.
Yeah, Lee, thank you for the teacher vibes there. Right, okay. So this is the quote. Now, this is the quote which I put in our chat. These gentlemen here, Lee and Ryan, will know which one it is. Because it's the one I put in the chat that I said, Lee, could you put this on the website? Because I want to make sure this is owned.
I am going to do that. I am 100%.
And what happened was, this happened. Remember, this happened, right? Listen to this. This happened.
Excuse me.
Can you guess what that is yet? That is the sound of tumbleweed.
All right then. What's the quote?
The quote is, here's the quote. And it's an original quote by yours truly that no one else has. It's this. You're not on this planet to make up the numbers, you're here to make a difference.
He remembered it, to be fair. I did go back and look. Like, word for word as well.
Of course I'm going to remember it. It's my quote. So, over to you guys. What does that mean to you?
So, firstly, I will absolutely update it, Jose, but I have to go in and code this. I've not just got a little box to fill it in on, so you need to be patient.
Sorry about that. I take it all back. Hang on, let me do this.
Like every IT team ever, they take forever to do anything.
Were you just kissing me there? Is that what that take back was for us?
No, I was rewinding. I was trying to suck it back to take the words back.
That's fine. Whatever you were trying to do, that's fine. You know, if you were trying.
No, I'm not going down. I'm not going into your mind. I don't want. It's a very dangerous place, your mind. So I'm just going to stay out of there.
If you were sucking it back, I'm all good for that. That does for me. You asked me on the 14th.
Oh my God! Please don't ban us on TikTok right now. Just to let you know. Thank you, Zero.
Right. I really like this. Obviously, this has been yours. It was on the original Inspiration Nation website that was there even before we did the podcast. And I think it's a really good mantra. A little while ago, someone said to me, there's a phrase that's used by the kids these days. I'm at that age where I need to find out from my kids what are the trending phrases and stuff. And they refer to someone as having character syndrome. Have you heard this before?
No, what is it again?
Sorry,
what was that?
You cut out for me. Say it again.
So the kids refer to someone as having main character syndrome.
Main character syndrome. Okay.
I know what this is, but I am also in my 20s. So.
And it's like all things where I think it's a dangerous thing, because I think the thing it refers to is where you think you are the central focus in everybody else's life. So everyone else's life revolves around you because you are the main character in your film or your book or your video game, and everyone else is a secondary character that's there to support what you're doing. And it's taken on a life of its own. But the context it was used, and where I think it goes too far, is where people, there's an implication I've seen in places where the positive people take is they refer to themselves as a background character, which I think is going too far the other way, because you shouldn't see that everyone else's decisions result on you, but in your head, in your own narrative, in your own decisions, you absolutely are your own main character. You're not there to, facilitate someone else's thing. You should be helping, you should be supporting, but your goals, your focus, what you're doing, what you feel, what you think matters. And I've seen variations of this where it goes off track and it goes completely the other way, and I've thought about it on and off, and I think it fits with yours as well, Jose. Is you're not just here to make up the numbers. You're not here to fill a stat or to be, just be a bod and do a few transactions in life and disappear off again. And you are here to make a difference, whatever way that is. Everything you do when you meet someone else, when you interact with someone else, is an opportunity to make a difference. And it does make a difference, and it can either be positive or it could be negative. And I think knowing that you can make positive difference, small ways, big ways, is a really, really important mentality to have. No one is just a number or a digit or a cog in the machine whatsoever. And that means different things to different people, but I think it's a really powerful mindset. I think it's a great quote to have as your leading quote. I absolutely do.
I think to Gen X it or millennial it, main character behavior is the equivalent of being Jim Carrey in the Truman Show.
Sorry, I don't understand your old film reference, Ryan.
In a way that you might understand, Joe. Imagine that you are Jim Carrey in the Truman Show. That is what having main character energy is like. It's your life. It's your life as a TV show or a film that's just about you, and everybody else's existence is just to serve your purpose. That's what that philosophy, I think,
which obviously is a dangerous mentality. But I say it's like all things; it's a balance, because it can go too far the other way in things as well. Which I think, as long as you're doing it good, because I don't know where I thought it's true. There's films where the main character is terrible, but there's also films where the main character does great for people around them. So you can be your main character and have a positive impact and care about other people and want them all to be their own main character as well.
Yeah, love that. That's exactly what I'm thinking when I talk about that, because there's a couple of things that come up when you were talking. I just want to give a few shout outs. Ash, thanks for that. I love that honesty in the chat there. And obviously, the quote's eye-opening. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. So it's brilliant. So keep those questions coming, keep those things coming, because we can highlight them. And if you come up with any questions, I'll ask the guys as well. So let's keep going with that.
Just so you know as well, Ash, in our private group text, Ryan just typed, "She better be making my dinner and not sending these messages."
Oh,
don't make me a misogynist on social media. That's not fair.
Tell you what. Oh, dangerous ground.
Whether it's right or wrong is a different question, but don't out me as a misogynist, please.
Don't out me.
I think from my perspective on this, the only person that can validate your difference is you. I don't think when somebody dies they get an afterlife report that tells them what they.
Oh, wouldn't it be great if it did, like where you die in a game and you get your stats come up and you'd get a little life stats list come up?
Kind of, yeah. But I'd probably be a bit annoyed if it said if you did this instead of that, you'd be a multi-trillionaire or something.
It's where mine says life success 23%. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Oh no. But you're the only person that can validate your involvement in your own narrative, so to speak. So if you think you could be doing more around your job or more around your health or more around your family, then that's on you. Nobody's gonna come up to you one day, or sometimes they might, but generally people aren't going to come up to you and say you need to do better at X, Y, Z, because A, B, C will happen if you don't. Right? It will just be life is life and it is what it is. You have to, for me, to be able, in my mind, which we've spoken about a lot the last few weeks, in my mind, to be able to be considered, to be able to consider myself as making a difference, I would like to think that I make a positive imprint on as many people I come across in life as possible. That's my metric to myself. Lee once said that he was going to, I think we've all said at some point, I know, Lee, that you did a lot of work around it, but you wanted to leave people in a better place than where you found them. We've had loads of conversations about things like that. And I think as a general life rule of thumb, that is what I would like to think is all of our main intentions as people, is that we should try and leave everyone around us better than where we found them, whether that's physically, emotionally, monetarily, whatever. It's somebody was here and their progression to here was aided by you and not derailed by you. And that's not always going to be possible. Every decision you make is going to have an effect, cause and effect, and all that other stuff, and the butterfly effect and all those other things that we can talk about. But as much as it's in our control to help people or support people, it's also out of our control the ripple effect of things that occur as a result of that. I think as long as your intentions are pure and legitimate, then you're on the right path to achieving what you want to achieve with it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to follow up with, and you said it was the intentions bit, because you won't always get it right.
Yeah,
you won't always be in a place to even do it sometimes, because things just happen. But if your intention is there, it will happen more times often than not. Which is, I think, that's all we can do is try. I think with it, which is, it's really good. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah. And in fact, it all came about actually, because where did it come? It all came about because I do a shield for work. So you have to do this shield. I don't know if you've done them. We have to introduce yourself and tell them a bit about yourself, and I talk about what do you bring, what do you love, and all that sort of. So it was what I was introducing on there as well. Oh, thanks on Cloud9. Thank you so much. Cloud9 is in the house moderating. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't forget to encourage people to like this on Cloud9, like this live, so we can get more people in here. And I like everything you said, both of you. So one of the things is the butterfly effect. I love that, Ryan, because I think that is a thing. I.e., you could do something small, but the knock-on effect, you just don't actually know. When you do something, you don't know what the knock-on effect of that is. So you have the intention to serve. You don't know, you might have had a kind word with someone, and you don't know that person might go on and do that something, and before you know it, you've actually changed something huge because of it. Anyway, I love that, and I think we could talk about that more. What I used to hear a lot when I work in business is, I'm just a number in this company. It's so big. I'm just a number. Or I hear, we're just cogs in the machine. Okay, look, we do have to do our roles.
Why do you say that? Like you're in some 80s film pretending to be a teenager that's a load of drugs.
Well, I suppose it's because I am from the 80s, really. So it's probably probably a subconscious thing. I'm just a cog in the machine.
I'm from the 80s. You are from the 70s.
So you were born in the 80s, but that doesn't mean you're in the 80s. No, yeah, but it doesn't mean you were actually, in the 80s. Right? So I was in the 80s, late 70s, 80s. Well, I'm probably being disserviced to be fair. Actually, I'm going to give you that because you were probably very aware.
Should we just say the
early
60s
as well? Right?
Yeah, very early 80s, ZX Spectrum days, all that malarkey, all those computer things that were coming out, tape cassette, all that stuff. Anyway,
sorry, Joe, I completely derailed you there.
I
don't know where I was going there.
Colours TVs, talking films, all the tech was coming out.
You were talking about people claiming that they're cogs in a machine and just a number.
Oh, I'm a cog in a machine. That's right.
That's it. Exactly like that.
That cog in a machine. Absolutely. So this is what I want to get away from, because I don't care what company you're at, how big it is. I don't care if you're at Apple and you're the biggest, one of the biggest companies in the world. Whether you're entry level, you still can make a difference. Where you treat that colleague, you treat that customer, you do your work to the best you can, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And it's good for you because you're doing those things really well and you have pride in what you do, no matter what it is. And I think that's really hard sometimes, depending on the culture of your area. And I know I've struggled with that. When the culture's not good, how do I still be my best self? Yeah. I have really struggled with that, because that's like fighting against the wave or the machine, because you want to do good, but your necessarily culture isn't great. But how do you still do good within that culture to start to do it? Because I love that other quote that I think goes along with this: be the change you want to see in the world, right? So how do we do that? You do that in the hardest of times, and that means in your business. It means when you're working for a company. It means in your life. Maybe your life isn't going great, but can you just be a bit kinder. Just go against the grain. Go against the grain. And I think we talked about before going against the grain. And that's why I love this quote. So I don't want you to be a number. I don't want you to be a cog. I want you to make a difference. And I want everybody in this live right now to think about something they can do today or tomorrow to do that and to know they're doing something good.
Right?
And now, look, Lee's right. Lee's absolutely right. You're not always going to be able to do it, but what you do is you do a James Clear, right? You do a James Clear. Oh, he says, James Clear. You do a James Clear.
Say James Clear again while you're looking for the book.
One more
do
time.
A James Clear. Right? And you put a vote in the vote for the person you want to become, right? So sometimes you'll go off track with human beings.
Just quickly, for those listening to this audio podcast, Jose lifted up the book Atomic Habits by James Clear.
I'm on this great thing, and then Lee goes, let me put a little advert in here. Now I've lost my vibe. But anyway.
No, you put a vote. You're saying you put in a vote. Come on.
Right. I'm sorry, listeners who listen to the audio. Lee's doing me in tonight. I love it, though. I love it. It's great. Anyway, look, yeah, put a vote for the person you want to become, right? So what I'm saying is that you won't always get it perfectly right. Sometimes you might upset someone, but own it, apologise, whatever, and then continue to do the good work, because there'll be times when you don't do the right thing. Okay, know it. That's a vote for the person you don't want to become. But so long as you're doing mainly good things, you outvote that person, in which case you'll become that person. And I love that. And that's one of the biggest things I've taken from this book, right? There is no such thing as perfection. You don't have to be a perfect person. There's no such thing as a perfect person. Just do good things. So there. Oh, Ryan, thank you for your likes on the podcast. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ash, look at that. Ash sent me a text about the cog in the machine and numbers thing.
Yeah.
She said it reminds her of a quote: "You're saving PDFs, not lives."
Oh. Repeat that again for me. Can you repeat that? I like this. Go on.
You're saving PDFs, not lives. It says it reminds her of that quote. If people are stuck in that mindset of I'm just a cog in a machine, or I'm just a number of a bigger picture and things like that, and they feel like they can't get out, then there's things outside of work that they can focus on. And the reminder of that is you're only saving PDFs, you're not saving lives. So if you were a heart surgeon, then you probably would be saving lives and not PDFs.
You'd hope so, anyway.
You'd hope so. And your job would be driven more around, or the good that you do is more obvious to you because you're physically trying to make people better, right? Whereas in this scenario, people think that they're a cog in a machine and all this other stuff. And I'll tell you what it reminds me of, or it brings me back to, is my TikTok For You page has changed over the years quite dramatically. And I now get quite a lot of people send in requests to their managers. Their managers just being arseholes, basically. And you get like text chains and things like that. And what it reminded me of is there's a very fickle balance. And we've all been leaders in current or previous roles on the podcast. There's a fine balance between the management side and the non-management side of a team, right? If the non-management side of the team don't turn up for work collectively, the management team don't have a job. Whereas if the management team are too hard on or too lenient on the non-management people, they'll get away with too much. So everybody has their place at work. Everybody has their role and their defined kind of parameters and things like that. But it's such a fickle balance between having too much power and taking the piss too much, both ways. And that kind of mindset of you're not here to make up the numbers, you're here to make a difference, is about how you can influence those things, especially at work. It feels a bit like a worky quote. You can influence those things to work not in your favor, but you can push them in the right way. You can get the best out of both your manager, if you're not a manager, or you are, or your upline. And if you don't have a downline, you can then influence how your job looks to your manager and things like that. So that's how, if you feel like you're stuck as a cog in a machine or just a number, that you can use these things to your benefit to progress yourself. There's loads of people in loads of huge businesses around the world that started at the lowest rung of that business and genuinely worked themselves through it. And yet, you know what? Some negative people might say, well, they're the ones that got lucky. Not all of it can be luck. Not all of it can be luck. You have to have something, or you have to be good at something, probably usually quite a few things, for that to work in your favor and not just luck. It isn't that every manager you've had has dropped down dead over the last 30 years and somehow you've just found yourself in a CEO position. No, you've genuinely earned those steps up, or those people do. Will everybody get to the top? No, because if that was possible, everyone would already be there. But
Yeah.
everybody will find their place. Some people are happy in the first run. They do their 9 to 5, they go home, they do a basic job, they're fine with that. They don't care. Their pleasure is outside of work, or what they strive most for is outside of work. There are people that hit the mark halfway up the ladder. They're in a middle management role and they're happy. They've got a nice sized team underneath them. They care about their people. They do a good job. They don't want to progress anymore. They're happy with their are. And there are people that really want to push the boundary. And you don't know where your limit is. In my experience, you two do have more life experience than me, and that isn't an age joke.
Joe has
You
more.
know, you know where you find, as life goes on and time goes on and jobs go on, you find where you want your barrier to be, or where you find your level as life goes on. So if you're sat there and you're even up to your late 30s and you think you're just a cog in a machine and nobody cares about you, you've still got, in the UK, about 25 years to really turn that around and to really drive yourself through. You can't be stuck in that mindset forever, because otherwise you will be stuck in that mindset forever and you'll turn it into a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you
Yeah.
believe you're a number or a cog and you don't change your way of thinking, you don't try and change your way of thinking, then you will just be a cog in a machine and you will just be a number. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. I so agree with that. And there's an example I use when I joined my current company. There was no coach position. Well, guess what? There's now a coach position. In fact, one of my leaders said to me, you might have to leave because there's no coach position. And that fired me up even more to get a coach position. Right? And it's like, and now I can't get enough of it, which is awesome, right? I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I'm so lucky. Oh, actually, that's really interesting because the luck element, right?
Can I give you a quote
This
on that?
is what.
When you, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you on
Oh,
again. I'll
were
put
you
this on
going
my
to say the
negative
same
jar.
quote as what I was going to
You
say?
go for yours, and we shall see.
All right. So the quote I'm going to give for the luck bit is Simon Squibb's quote, where he says, "Luck is a skill." Right. I absolutely really love that because yeah, you do have. There is this luck, but you can influence it because he says if you take more risk, you're more likely to get a bit luckier, right? Of course, there's always a downside. There can be that, but if the more risk you take, the more luck you can get, and that's what that for influences your luck. So you might feel uncomfortable going. Well, when I can give you an example, I suppose. When I was at this business and there was really no official coaching, there was no coaching at all. They thought it was coaching, but it wasn't coaching. I would then start talking about it. I'd start in our big meetings with lots of people. People say, oh, "What do you think?" And I say, "Hey, I've got an idea," and I would just start talking about it. I'd start doing it. I'd start having lunchtime meetups. I'd start talking to people about it, getting enthused about it. I'd start really like thinking what the benefits are of it and how it's helped me through some real challenges through my mental health and other challenges, and actually how it's accelerated what I've done throughout the years, right? And that is how. And that could have backfired massively. They might say, well, who's this guy? Let's get rid of him, But they'd be lucky to him. They've embraced it. And now we're doing it. And it's fantastic. And that's why I think that luck is a skill thing. But there is risk attached to it because you're putting yourself out there. This is me, right? If Lee and Ryan know that this is me, like what they're seeing, what you're seeing, there's no difference between this Jose Reedy and the Jose that goes to work. Like, apart from a little bit of moderation, I suppose, that Lee probably and Ryan know about. But apart from that, you see what you get. Like, this is not I'm not different. And when I go to work and I say, hey, I don't just talk about it in work, I do this outside work, and this is what I do, people sometimes look at go, well, because this is me, this is what I'm this is where I feel I can make a difference. So I'm not making up the numbers, I want to make a difference. So it almost goes back full circle to that quote. And that's when I was talking about luck as a skill bit. But Lee, over to you because you've got something on this, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's very much the same message in a different frame. And what made me think of it was when Ryan was talking about the kind of, people saying it's all luck, etc., etc., etc. And I heard this the other day and I loved it because I thought it exactly is on brand with our sort of message around this stuff. And it's luck is where preparation and opportunity meet.
I love that one. I love that. I've heard this before. Where have I heard this? I've heard this somewhere.
I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure who I heard.
I've heard it somewhere. I love that though. I think it's really true. It's so true though.
And that's so true. Back to what you were saying, Joe, about putting pigs in. What you're saying, Ryan, is you don't know what opportunities are around the corner, but if you're not aware of them, if you're not trying to up your skills, if you're not putting out if you aren't in the right mindset to take the opportunity where it comes along, you're never going to get it. And that's the luck bit, is the bit that's out of your control, which is the opportunities. But yeah, it's where preparation and opportunity meet. And I love that, because you never notice the luck that you don't take, do you?
Yeah. My assessment of luck is somewhere in between what the pair of you have just said.
Yeah, because
it's a skill, but it's a skill because you do have to be in the right place at the right time, but also you're only in the right place at the right time with the right amount of preparation and the good opportunity that comes around at the same time.
Absolutely.
My perception is somewhere in the middle of what you two have said.
Love that.
And there will be scenarios where something will just happen, like you'll just win the lottery, and of course, that is
of course that can happen.
That is insanely lucky. But a promotion that you think is at your job unobtainable and you can't get it for whatever reason, you put the work in, you put yourself in front of the right people, you do everything you can that you think is right. Eventually, those two worlds will end up banging together and something will end up happening. Whether it takes 5 months, 5 years, or 50 years, eventually something will happen that it ends up in the right place.
Yeah.
So true. And go on, Lee, you're going to say.
I was just going to say the quote Seneca, Roman philosopher Seneca, is attributed to this quote. So you probably remember being there when he first said it.
It's because I remember, because this is like the Stoicism thing, isn't it? I'm sure probably. I've totally missed this. I don't know what I missed.
That one tickled me. That has for me.
It's all in the delivery. It's all in the delivery. Right, Jose, what are you going to say? And then we'll wrap us up because we are yammering on.
So you did that thing what Ryan said, and the preparation. What was it? The prepare for the
preparation and opportunity.
Right, the prepare for the opportunity. Right. Yeah. There are people that say, "Well, I want to be this and I want to be X." Right. So when I'm at work or wherever, I'm just saying, "Okay, so what are you going to start doing?" Oh, but there's no positions. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like do the prep now. So when it's there, you're ready. Like you're ready to take the opportunity. And because people get a little bit blindsided, well, there's no point. Is there? Well, there is massive point in it. You show that you're doing it before you're doing it. Like before it's available. Like just do it, because once you have those skills, you'll be almost like a nail on for that position, because you've been doing it. You can justify it. You can prove that you've been doing the work right now, and you're ready. So I always think about that, and people say, "Well, there's no positions." Well, just start, and even if that didn't work out, you can still leave and go to and get it somewhere else. It's like you've got to shape your own destiny. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the skills you've learned don't disappear, do they? None of it's a waste, no matter what.
That's beautiful. No one can take that away. People think, "Oh, what's the point?" Well, once you've learned the skill, no one can take that away from you. You've got it forever. Like that's what people like when you get an experience. People think, "Oh, well, what's the point in that?" Well, there's massive point in it, because now you have it, and no one can ever take it from you. You can now use that in wherever space you need to use it. So yeah, I'm a big advocate of that. No, that's what I was going to say. There you go.
Love it. There's a lot of good energy on the pod tonight. I love it. So hopefully this has thrown out some inspiration for people from Joe's core quote. And it is, for every single person listening, watching, live, archived, 5 years from now, whatever, the message is still true. Every single one of you is not a number, and you can make a difference. And decide what your fulfillment is and start working towards that.
Yeah, I just want to give that a little shout. 1.7k likes on the likes, and Ash, thank you so much for liking that. Last person to like it so far. Thank you, Ash. We appreciate you massively.
Absolutely. Yes, on TikTok. So Jose Noya, Inspiration, stick it in your Google machine. TikTok and YouTube are the places that we live. Go on there, follow Jose. If you click on notification, subscribe, whatever the buttons are, I don't know how this stuff works, you'll get told when we're going live, and you can join in, as loads of people have done today. Loads of people have visited. We said we're just under 2,000 likes, which is great. And particularly going down the list, Karki, Zero, Ash, great contributors on Cloud9. Really appreciate everyone getting involved in the show.
Can I just give a shout? So just on the lives as well on this TikTok, we've gone up from League D2 to C4, and we are in the top 80%. So we have got to 10% in these lives, like when I've done them. So just keep coming in, sharing them, liking the content, because the more we do this, the more we build this community together. So, you guys out there, we can't do this alone. Like myself, Lee, Ryan, we need your help. So please share this stuff, comment on it, come on the lives, share it to death, because we need more people. Want to hit my 10,000 followers goal. So please, can you? Oh, Emeka, thank you so much. Can you please follow if you love this? Please follow. I will reply to every single comment. Just to let you know, I reply. It's not a bot. I reply to you personally. So please, can you start? Thank you, Emeki. Thank you much. Oh, just got a follow. Emeki just followed.
Absolutely,
thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yeah, huge thank yous. And this is
just got a shout on the podcast as well, by the way.
Each and every week, we're just here. This is our own personal coaching group between the three of us, making ourselves better, and we hope it gives some inspiration to everyone else that's listening out there as well. All that is left to do is I will count us down. I'll say 3, 2, 1. Inspiration
Nation.
Catch you guys
later. Brilliant. Okay, thank you.